Ask any doctor what damages kidneys, and you will hear the usual list. Too much sugar, uncontrolled blood pressure, not enough water, and all of that is true. But there is a piece of this story that almost never comes up in a standard office visit. And it is the piece that happens between midnight and 6 in the morning when you are asleep and your kidneys are doing something most people have never been told about. Let me explain this properly, because once you see it, you will never look at your evening snack the same way again. Your kidneys do not shut off at night. They shift into a different mode. During the day, they are filtering at full speed, handling everything you throw at them, the coffee, the lunch, the medications, the metabolic waste from a full active day. But at night, when your blood pressure naturally drops and your body enters its repair cycle, your kidneys get a narrow window to recover. The blood flow slows just enough for the delicate filtering tissue to heal from the day's damage. This is their maintenance shift, and what you eat in that last hour before you lie down either supports that maintenance or quietly sabotages it. After 60, this becomes the difference between kidneys that hold steady for decades and kidneys that silently lose ground every single year. I say silently because that is the cruel part. A kidney in trouble does not scream at you. It does not ache the way a bad knee does. There are almost no pain receptors inside the organ itself. By the time something shows up on routine blood work, you may have already lost 30 or even 40% of your filtering capacity, and unlike your liver, which can regenerate, your kidneys cannot rebuild what is gone. I am Dr. Adrian Vale, and I have spent over 15 years working with patients who came to me thinking their kidneys were fine, only to find out the damage had been accumulating quietly for years. And the pattern I keep seeing is always the same. Good people doing most things right during the day, but completely ignoring what their kidneys need at night. So today I am going to give you one specific fruit, that I believe belongs in that bedtime window more than any other if your goal is protecting your kidneys for the long run. I will tell you exactly why it works, what it does inside your body overnight, and how to use it properly. And then I will give you a handful of supporting fruits that build on the same principle, including one that most people with kidney concerns have been told to avoid entirely, for a reason I will explain honestly. But before any of that, I want to speak directly to the person watching this who is afraid they have already waited too long. Maybe your numbers have already started slipping. Maybe your doctor used the words early kidney disease and it scared you. Listen to me carefully. Even kidneys that have lost ground can be stabilized. I have watched patients in their late 60s and 70s hold their filtration rate steady for 5, 8, even 10 years once they stopped overloading the system and started giving it what it actually needs. You have not missed the window. You are standing in it right now. That is why I do this. I want you living longer and stronger well past the age the world expects you to slow down. Everything I am about to tell you is what I share with my own patients, the same principles, the same timing, the same approach. And if you want the full plan laid out step by step, the one that has already helped thousands of people over 60 get their energy and their kidney numbers back on track, I have put it together for you, and the link is right there on your screen whenever you are ready. Now, let me take you inside the kidney for a moment, because this will make everything else land harder. Each kidney contains roughly 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons. Inside each nephron sits a microscopic knot of blood vessels called a glomerulus. That is the actual filter. Blood flows in under pressure, waste and excess fluid get pushed out, and the clean blood moves on. You were born with every nephron you will ever have. They do not regenerate. They do not multiply. After about age 40, you begin losing them slowly, roughly 1% per year, even in a perfectly healthy person. After 60, the math gets serious. You are working with a smaller crew, and every nephron you still have is doing more work than it was designed to do. Two forces destroy those nephrons faster than anything else. The first is pressure. When blood pressure runs even slightly high for years, it hammers against those delicate glomerular vessels the same way too much water pressure eventually bursts a garden hose. Over time, the filter scars shut and that nephron is gone forever. The second force is oxidative stress. Think of it as a slow internal rusting at the cellular level. The same chemical process that turns a sliced apple brown is happening inside your blood vessels, inside those filters every single day, and when the rusting outpaces your body's ability to repair it, the filters degrade. Now here is the part that ties it all to your nighttime. Your blood pressure is not supposed to stay flat around the clock. In a healthy body, it drops by 10 to 20% during sleep. Researchers call this nighttime dipping, and that dip is your kidney's recovery window. It is the few hours when the pounding eases off and the tissue gets to breathe. People whose blood pressure does not dip properly at night, the non-dippers, lose kidney function significantly faster. This is established science, not speculation. So the goal of what you eat before bed is straightforward. Help your blood pressure take its natural dip. Reduce the oxidative rusting. And do not hand your kidneys a load of extra waste to process right as they are trying to rest. That is the framework. And the fruit I am about to give you does all three. The number one fruit to eat before bed for better kidney health is tart cherries, not sweet cherries, tart cherries. And the reason they earn the top spot is that they do something for your kidneys overnight that no other fruit on this list can match. They work on three separate problems at the same time in that exact nighttime window. Let me break this down. The first thing tart cherries do is lower uric acid. Uric acid is a waste product that your kidneys are responsible for filtering out of your blood. When it runs too high, it crystallizes. Those crystals cause gout. They form kidney stones, and high uric acid on its own, even without stones, is now directly linked to faster kidney decline in study after study. Your kidneys are already working to clear it every day. When you eat something that lowers the amount they have to clear, you are giving them a direct, measurable break. Tart cherries have been shown in clinical research to reduce circulating uric acid levels. That is not a folk remedy. That is a documented biochemical effect. And it means that every night you eat them before bed, your kidneys wake up to a lighter workload the next morning. The second thing tart cherries do is flood your system with anthocyanins, the same deep red pigments we find in blueberries and other dark berries. These are among the most potent antioxidants found in food. They go directly at the oxidative rusting that degrades your glomeruli. They cool inflammation. They protect the blood vessel walls that make up those tiny filters. For an organ that is essentially a network of blood vessels, this is exactly the kind of protection that matters most. And the third thing, the one that makes tart cherries uniquely suited for bedtime, is melatonin. Tart cherries are one of the richest natural food sources of melatonin that exists. Melatonin is the hormone your brain releases to signal sleep. And here is why that matters for your kidneys specifically. Deeper sleep means a fuller blood pressure dip. A fuller blood pressure dip means less grinding on those filters overnight. The cherry is not just protecting your kidneys directly. It is improving the conditions under which your kidneys do their recovery. It is helping you sleep in a way that helps your blood pressure, in a way that helps your nephrons. One fruit pulling three levers at once in the exact hours that matter most. This is why tart cherries sit at the top of my list. Not because they are flashy, not because they are trendy, because the biology lines up perfectly with the timing. Now, how to use them properly. You want unsweetened tart cherries. That means either unsweetened dried tart cherries, about a small spoonful, or a splash of pure unsweetened tart cherry juice, the kind that makes you wince a little, diluted with water. Eat or drink them about 45 minutes to an hour before bed. Do not reach for anything labeled cherry cocktail or cherry flavored. That is sugar water we want. The real thing is tart, it is dark, and it is concentrated. A little goes a long way. If you can find frozen tart cherries, those work beautifully too. Frozen and thawed slightly. Eaten with a spoon, they feel like a cold dessert, and they carry the full anthocyanin and melatonin load. Now let me give you the supporting cast, because a rotation keeps you consistent. And consistency is what actually protects kidneys over years. The second fruit is blueberries. These carry the cleanest, most well-documented antioxidant profile of any common fruit. The anthocyanin concentration in blueberries is extraordinary for something so small. They quench oxidative stress in your blood vessels directly. They are anti-inflammatory. And critically, they are low in potassium and low in sugar, which makes them one of the safest fruits for kidneys that are already under strain. A half cup before bed, fresh or frozen, on their own, or stirred into a small amount of plain yogurt. Simple, effective, and almost universally safe. The third fruit is cranberries, and most people misunderstand what these actually do. Everyone knows cranberries as the urinary tract fruit, but the mechanism is what matters. Cranberries contain a specific compound called A-type proanthocyanidins that physically prevent bacteria from adhering to the lining of your urinary tract. That is not a vague immune boost. That is a structural, mechanical defense. And it matters for your kidneys because urinary tract infections that travel upward are one of the real and underappreciated ways that otherwise healthy kidneys sustain damage over a lifetime. Every infection you prevent downstream is a stress you spare the kidneys upstream. Use unsweetened dried cranberries or a splash of pure unsweetened cranberry juice diluted with water. Skip the cranberry cocktail entirely. It is soda in disguise. The fourth fruit is red grapes. Specifically the red and purple ones, not the green, because the compound you want lives in the skin. That compound is resveratrol, one of the most studied molecules in aging research. For your kidneys, resveratrol relaxes blood vessel walls and helps them dilate. When your vessels relax in the evening, your blood pressure dips more completely at night. That is the recovery window opening wider for your filters. Red grapes also contain a small natural amount of melatonin, which reinforces the sleep benefit. But grapes are sweeter than the berries, so portion is everything. About 10 to 15 grapes, eaten whole with the skin, is the right evening amount. A trick that works beautifully is to freeze them. Frozen grapes take longer to eat, they feel indulgent, and they keep you away from the actual ice cream sitting in the freezer. The fifth fruit is the apple, and it protects your kidneys through a pathway most people never consider: your gut. Apples are one of the richest sources of a soluble fiber called pectin. When pectin reaches your lower gut, it feeds beneficial bacteria. A well-fed, balanced gut microbiome produces less systemic inflammation. And less systemic inflammation means less inflammatory debris flowing through your bloodstream for your kidneys to filter. Researchers now call this the gut-kidney axis, and it is one of the most active areas of kidney research happening right now. The apple's skin also carries quercetin, a potent antioxidant that protects blood vessel integrity. Peel the apple and you lose most of it, so eat it whole. A medium apple, especially a slightly tart variety like a Granny Smith, is ideal in the evening. Slice it and dust it with real cinnamon if you want it to feel like dessert. Eat it an hour or two before bed so the fiber has time to begin its work before you lie down. The sixth fruit is strawberries. These carry a powerful antioxidant called ellagic acid, along with a heavy concentration of vitamin C. Together, they attack oxidative stress from multiple angles. Strawberries are also mostly water and fiber with very little sugar, which makes them one of the lightest things you can put in your stomach at night. You get real antioxidant protection without spiking blood sugar and without the heaviness that disrupts sleep. About half a cup to a cup of fresh strawberries in the evening, sliced on their own, or with a spoon of plain yogurt. They are reasonable on potassium for most people. though not quite as low as blueberries. So if your kidneys are already compromised, keep the serving on the smaller side. The seventh fruit is pineapple, and this is the one almost nobody thinks of for kidney protection. Pineapple is the only common fruit that contains bromelain, a natural enzyme with genuine anti-inflammatory properties. It quiets the kind of chronic low-grade inflammation that slowly degrades filtering tissue over years. It also eases digestive burden, which means less metabolic waste reaching the kidneys overnight. And here is what surprises most people. Pineapple is actually lower in potassium than they assume, which puts it on the friendlier side for kidneys under strain. The catch is sugar. Pineapple is sweet, so keep it to about half a cup of fresh chunks. Fresh or frozen only. Canned pineapple sitting in syrup undoes the entire benefit. Now, the eighth fruit, and this is the one I need to be completely transparent about. Citrus. Oranges, lemons, grapefruit, and their relatives. Here is the good side, and it is genuinely good. Citrus fruits are among the best natural sources of citrate. When citrate passes through your kidneys, it binds to calcium in your urine and prevents it from crystallizing into stones. Citrate is one of your body's own built-in defenses against kidney stones, and citrus tops you up on it. For a person with healthy kidneys and a history of stones, citrus can be actively protective. Here is the other side. Citrus is high in potassium, and for healthy kidneys, that is not a problem. Healthy kidneys clear potassium easily, and potassium actually helps lower blood pressure. But for kidneys that are already failing, in the later stages of chronic kidney disease or on dialysis, those kidneys cannot clear potassium properly. It builds up in the blood, and elevated blood potassium is not a minor issue. It can affect your heart rhythm. It can be life-threatening. So here is the rule I give every patient. If you have been diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, if you are on dialysis, or if you take any medication that affects potassium levels, do not add citrus or any high potassium fruit without clearing it with your own doctor first. Get your potassium level checked. Let the number guide you. For most people watching this video, citrus is a healthy choice. For some, it is exactly the wrong one. And only your blood work can tell you which group you belong to. If you are cleared, a few segments of orange or half a small orange in the evening adds that citrate protection beautifully. But I intentionally keep it out of my bedtime recipe for safety reasons, which brings me to exactly that, the bedtime kidney tonic. This takes 2 minutes and puts the safest, most effective fruits into one glass. Into a blender, add about a quarter cup of blueberries. Add 4 or 5 sliced strawberries. Add a small splash of pure unsweetened tart cherry juice for the uric acid and melatonin benefit. Pour in about half a cup of plain unsweetened kefir or plain yogurt, which brings probiotics for that gut-kidney axis we talked about. Add a little water to loosen it. Finish with a shake of real cinnamon. Blend until smooth. That is your bedtime kidney tonic. It is low in sugar. It is low in potassium. It is rich in exactly the antioxidants your filters need overnight, and it gives you something to reach for in that last hour that is actively working for your kidneys instead of against them. Drink it in place of the salty crackers, the bowl of ice cream, or the sweet tea that used to fill that slot. A few variations so you do not get bored, because the version you actually stick with is the version that works. On a night you want it slightly sweeter, drop in a few frozen red grapes before blending. If your stomach is sensitive at night, skip the kefir and use just water with the fruit. And if you do not want to blend at all, you do not have to. A small bowl of blueberries and strawberries with a spoon of plain yogurt and a few dried tart cherries on top does most of the same work. The tool is not the blender. The tool is the swap, trading the late-night salt and sugar for the fruit that helps your filters recover. Before I give you your action steps, I need to draw a clear line the same way I would in my own office. These fruits support healthy kidneys and early mild strain. They are not a treatment for kidneys that are already in serious trouble. If you are experiencing swelling in your legs, ankles, or around your eyes, foamy or bubbly urine that does not clear, blood in your urine, a significant drop in how much you are urinating, or pain in your back or side below the ribs, those are not fruit problems. Those are see a doctor this week problems. And if you already carry a diagnosis of kidney disease, you are on dialysis, or you take blood pressure or potassium-affecting medications. Fold these fruits in only with your doctor's guidance, especially the citrus. Food is the foundation. It is not the whole house. Let me tell you about a patient I will call Margaret. She was 71, a retired school teacher, still walked 2 miles most mornings. She came to me not because anything felt wrong, but because her daughter had insisted on a full blood panel after her own scare. Margaret's eGFR, the number we use to measure how well the kidneys are filtering, had quietly dropped into the range where we start paying attention. Her creatinine, the waste product that rises when the filters are falling behind, had crept up. She was genuinely shocked. No diabetes, moderate blood pressure. She thought she was doing everything right. We did not start with medication. We started with her evenings. Margaret had a nightly habit of toast with butter and a glass of sweetened iced tea, right as her kidneys were trying to enter their recovery window. We swapped that. Some nights it was the tonic. Other nights it was a small apple with cinnamon or a handful of frozen blueberries eaten slowly. She kept her tart cherry juice, splash consistent, most nights for the sleep benefit. We confirmed her potassium was fine and let her keep citrus in the daytime. She added a short walk after dinner because moving muscle helps drop blood pressure into the evening. 14 months later, her eGFR had held steady. It did not climb back because kidneys do not regrow lost nephrons, and I will never lie to you about that. But it stopped falling. Her blood pressure improved, her sleep improved, and her energy came back in a way she said she had not felt in years. For a 71-year-old kidney, holding the line is not just acceptable. It is a victory. It was her giving those filters their night shift back. So here is exactly what to do tonight. 5 steps. 1. Close your kitchen earlier. Make your last food of the evening one of these fruits, ideally the tart cherries or the tonic, instead of something salty or sweet. Give your kidneys less to clean up as they enter their recovery window. 2. Pick one low-potassium fruit that is already in your house. Blueberries, strawberries, an apple, or frozen tart cherries. Eat a small portion about an hour before bed tonight. Not tomorrow. Tonight. 3. If you want the full effect, make the bedtime kidney tonic. Blueberries, strawberries, a splash of tart cherry juice, plain kefir, a shake of cinnamon. 2 minutes. 4. Add a 10-minute walk after dinner. It does not have to be fast. It does not have to be far. It helps bring your blood pressure down into the evening, and your blood pressure is the single biggest lever you hold over your kidney health. 5. If you have been diagnosed with kidney disease, or you take blood pressure or potassium-affecting medication, write down one question for your doctor this week. Which fruits are safe with my current potassium level? That one question protects you and tells you exactly which items on this list are yours to use freely. Now, if this is the first time anyone has explained to you why your kidneys need specific support at night instead of just telling you to drink more and avoid salt, do me a favor, hit subscribe and give this video a like. And if you have someone in your life with high blood pressure or diabetes, the 2 leading causes of kidney damage there are, send this to them. This is exactly the conversation their doctor does not have 12 minutes for in a standard visit. Eating the right fruit at night is one powerful lever. But there is another one that most people over 60 have never once had checked. A single marker on a standard blood panel that predicts kidney trouble years before your creatinine ever moves. Most doctors will not mention it unless you specifically ask for it by name. In my next video, I am going to tell you what that marker is, how to request it, and exactly what to do if your number is creeping in the wrong direction. I am Dr.